Hey, this is Leo for Actualized.org. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to have amazing, mind-blowing sex. I'm excited. Let's get started. Let's show you how to have sex in an amazing way so that your girl can have orgasm after orgasm after orgasm and fall in love with you in a way that she's never fallen in love with another man in her life. So let me start off by saying that this is a guide for men, not for women. There are important tips and tricks that we can talk about for women. That will be another video, but it's much more important to discuss the technique and the proper mindsets for men. Why is this? Because the man is the leader in the bedroom, and a lot is riding on him. The woman, she flows with what the man is doing. She's following, she's being submissive. She's surrendering herself to the man, to you. So this being the case, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to lead properly. And you need to know how to stir the right emotions both in you and in her to make this a mind-blowing experience. So a lot of it really has to do with the man. I would say 90% of amazing sex is about what the man is doing, and only 10% is about what the woman is doing. So if you're a man and you've never had mind-blowing, amazing sex, then you're really missing out on something. And this leads me to the next point, which is, why am I even talking about this topic? Why is this an important topic for personal development? Why is this an important topic for men? 2 points, really. First of all, is that this is one of the best peak experiences that you will have in life, is amazing, mind-blowing sex. And just from the friends that I survey, from the things that I overhear, one of the things that really blows my mind is how bad men are in the bedroom. I hear it from women. I hear it from my guy friends just by seeing the way they interact with their girlfriends and the women that they're dating and having sex with. And I just see it by the way that guys talk about sex. I just know that they don't understand what the hell is going on. So this tells me that you're missing out. You are missing out and your girl is missing out. So both of you are missing out. This is like a peak experience in life. I mean, think about it. You're on this earth for a short period of time. You want to experience everything there is as much as you can in all the different intensities that you can. Well, sex, especially amazing, mind-blowing sex, is one of those things that I feel like a lot of guys and girls miss out on for their entire life. I mean, girls definitely miss out on it because you can read the literature and like nearly a third or up to 50% of women have difficulty just having an orgasm, a single orgasm. To me, that's ridiculous. That's just pathetic. For me, mind-blowing, amazing sex means that my girl is going to have 5 to 10 orgasms per night. I'm going to have 1, maybe 2 orgasms per night. And it's not just the quantity of the orgasms, but it's also the intensity of them and the duration and length of them. So I'm talking about long, deep, like mind-blowing orgasms. I'm also talking about like a deep, intimate connection. Also, if you're not so much into the intimacy part, it can be like very kinky, very dirty type of sex. So all of those components will come into play here. So this is just one of those things that you want to experience. It's kind of like going and seeing a beautiful sunset or seeing the Grand Canyon. That to me is what amazing sex is like. The second point is that if you're the guy and you're having difficulty keeping women loyal to you, if you're having difficulty keeping women in a relationship with you, if you're worrying about a woman cheating on you, this kind of stuff, then I think the biggest thing you're really missing is the sex component, the amazing sex component. For me, I never really have to worry about a girl cheating on me. I mean, she might, there's always the chance. But I don't have to worry about it because I know that the sex that I give her is so amazing that she can't experience that kind of deep, intimate connection with virtually anybody. I'm not kidding. This is not just a subjective feeling. I mean, sure, she's going to subjectively fall in love with you, but it's also beyond that, it goes into the objective realm, because literally only maybe 1 in 1,000 guys understand how to trigger these deep orgasms in women. And so what that means is that probably if you do it to your girlfriend or to your wife, she will never again in her life, even if she has sex with 20 other guys, she will never again experience the kind of deep emotions she experiences with you during sex. This is a very powerful thing because this literally hooks women to you like crack. It makes women much more easier to deal with. It makes them fall in love with you. It eliminates the disloyalty problems. It eliminates a lot of tension in the relationship. So this can actually be a very powerful tool. And like any powerful tool, it can be used both for good and for bad. So be careful. I'm not advocating here that you use this to manipulate or to trick women. I'm telling you to use this for good. Use this to build a deep relationship. Use this to get whatever like nice things you want out of the relationship, not to manipulate her or to hook her in any kind of like nefarious way. So be responsible there. Here's the thing. To me, sex is about the mindset. It's not about the techniques. And as guys, we tend to be very mechanically oriented. We tend to be very logical. We tend to be very methodical. And so when we start talking about sex, as a guy, you might start to think, well, just give me the exact how-to and I'll go do it. Like, tell me what I should do with my fingers. Tell me what I should do, what kind of thrusting motion I should do. Tell me what kind of position I should put myself in and her in. That's not the important part. And that's really not where guys are screwing up. Where guys are screwing up are with the mindsets and the emotional components. So in this video, I'm going to really hammer on mindset. But I'm also going to give you some techniques and I'm going to show you exactly the process that I go through so you can know exactly which steps to go through in order to have an amazing sex experience. So the first and most important mindset that you got to understand is that you have to love to please the girl. Now for some guys, this might actually be kind of like a weird notion. Because we're told, as we learn to get better with women, one of the things we're told in kind of the dating and attraction community is we're told, well, don't supplicate to women, don't be the nice guy. And that's true when you're attracting the girl. But when you're in bed with her and you want to make it an amazing experience, because you're the leader, you have to have a vision for where you're leading you and her. And that's giving her amazing orgasms. It's not about giving yourself amazing orgasms. Sex is not about being selfish. Sex is about like, giving your gift to the woman. You're not doing this to please her or to supplicate to her. You're really doing this because you're a masculine guy and it feels really good for you to unleash your masculine energy on the world and on your girl. So that's the mindset behind it. To me, when I get in the bedroom, it's like, oh man, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's like, yes, like I get to finally like share my gift and I get to show how masculine I am. And not in the sense of showing off, but just like a very genuine and authentic expression of my masculinity. Like that's exciting to me. I love to please the girl. I love the idea that I can give her 5 or 10 orgasms. I love the fact that I'm gonna give her the most powerful orgasms she's ever had in her life and that she'll never probably have again with anybody else. Like I love all those components and I think that that's what makes me good. You know, I'm not good because I know a lot of fancy techniques and I'm not good because I have a big dick or anything like that. It's simply because like I actually want to get emotional. I want to make the girl feel amazing. Like I want excellence in the bedroom. So it's kind of like a standard that I set for myself. And you need to set that same standard too, and you need to bring that mindset to the bedroom. Because what I find a lot of guys do is they just take it very mechanically, and it's just about kind of like blowing your load. So you just like get the girl in the bedroom, and then you just have sex with her, and you blow your load, and when you're done, that's it, it's done, and then you leave. Like that kind of attitude. With that kind of attitude, there's no amazing sex. That's just blowing your load kind of sex. And the woman isn't satisfied with that at all. But more than just that, like you're missing out on so much as the guy too. So that's the first most important piece. The next very important piece is that you have to be out of your head and you have to be emotionally open and vulnerable during sex. For some people, this is difficult because they have past traumatic events, maybe a bad childhood or whatever, or abuse of some kind that keep them kind of emotionally locked up. I know a lot of guys, sometimes they act very stoic, right? That kind of like Schwarzenegger kind of guy with that kind of like Schwarzenegger macho man look. And he kind of behaves that way. He doesn't smile. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's not charismatic. Well, that doesn't work in the bedroom. In the bedroom, you got to be able to really be emotional, let yourself go, and you got to get out of your head and be unself-conscious. One of the really cool things about sex is that it's really one of the peak flow state experiences of life. A flow state experience is an experience where you totally lose sense of yourself because you're so absorbed in the activity. It's like when you're in that zone. If you're playing a sport, or if you're at the gym, or you're killing it at work, or you're playing a video game or something like that, you can get in the zone where you're not thinking about anything analytically, you're just performing, behaving, and enjoying and soaking it all in, and it's this magical, almost spiritual experience. There's very little resistance there and very little thinking. So if you're a guy, one of the most important things is to get like the techniques and stuff out of your head. You have to get it internalized. So it's kind of like a second nature instinct. And that will come with practice, and I'll tell you more about that later. But very important to get yourself out of the head so that you can be emotional and open. You got to understand, as far as mindsets go, that for women, sex, what is it about? It's not about the mechanics. See, guys get this really, really wrong. And this is why there's a lot of confusion. Guys think like, well, to have good sex, I need a big dick. Is my dick big enough to make her happy? This kind of stuff. You gotta understand that like this stuff doesn't matter to the woman pretty much at all. At all. Because what she cares about is the emotions in the sex. Emotions. Women are emotional creatures. Just in their everyday lives. When you get them in the bedroom, they're super emotional creatures. You gotta it's kind of interesting because you're gonna be dominant as you're having sex. But you also have to be emotional too. So you're kind of taking on both masculine, but also kind of feminine characteristics. Some of you guys who are way too serious, can't put a smile on your face, like if you're this kind of guy who can't smile, can't be emotional around a woman, well, in the bedroom, like I can just imagine how that scenario goes. It's very stiff and stilted and mechanical. That's not what sex is about. Sex is about emotional expression, letting yourself go, being vulnerable, sharing yourself. First of all, you gotta want to do that. If you don't want to do that, you think that that's like a pussy thing to do, well man, you're missing out on a lot. Be careful about making that kind of judgment. It's not a pussy thing at all. The most amazing sex that the woman's gonna experience, that you're gonna experience, is when you are emotional and she's emotional. I'm gonna show you how to do it in a very masculine way, so don't be worried about that. But do understand like the foundation of where amazing sex is coming from. Like I really want to stress understanding the foundation so that these kind of things about like your dick size, these don't even enter into your head, because dick size, that has nothing to do with emotions. That's a purely visual and like a little bit of a mechanical type of thing. Another thing you got to really understand about women, a woman's deepest fantasy, do you know what that is? It's to be in deep emotional intimacy with her man. Very important. Deep emotional intimacy with her man. Every word of that phrase is very important. With her man, that means with you, right? She chose you. She doesn't want to have sex with any random guy. She's not like a guy. She's actually interested in you. Like she wants you and your personality to be the thing that fucks her. That's basically what she wants. She wants that intimacy. She wants to feel like she's your girl. She wants to be able to surrender to you. She wants to be penetrated by you, not just physically, but also emotionally. And the physical part, that's not the important part. See, as a guy, you think like, well, I'll just penetrate her physically. No, that's not the most important part. To her, the emotional component is even more important than the physical component. Because any guy can penetrate her physically. But only her man, the one that she wants to fall in love with, can penetrate her emotionally in the ways that she wants. And the second component here is really, she wants to be dominated. If she's feminine and you're masculine and you're playing that dynamic, what creates that kind of sizzle and creates those that chemistry and those electric sparks that fly between you two, that kind of like amazing connection, that's created by the tension between these polar opposites of masculine and feminine. Masculine is about penetrating. Feminine is about absorbing and receiving and surrendering. That's the dynamic you got to understand there. There's two super critical components of sex to amazing sex. They're very easy to remember, and I'm going to actually have a whole video after this one that's going to tell you how to build up both of these components. So the first pillar is intimacy, right? We already talked about it a little bit. Intimacy. You need to convey a lot of intimacy in the way that you're having sex. The second pillar is dominance. You need to be dominant in the way you're having sex so that you impose yourself on the girl is able to surrender to you. By the way, if you're wondering, like, well, what about some sort of role playing where the guy is the one that's being kind of dominated, the girl is a dominatrix? That's more like kinky style sex. You know, there's a lot of different various types of sex and very weird types of sex. I'm not getting into that here. I'm just covering basic vanilla type of sex. It's going to be amazing and mind-blowing, but you know, it does assume that the guy is the masculine one and the dominant one and the girl is the feminine one. This is going to be true for 90% of men and women. This dynamic will work well. For maybe 10 or 5% of the population, you know, they're into some other kind of stuff. So we're talking about heterosexual, traditional type of sex here. So what I want to do now is I want to go through my process. I actually shot this video already. This is my second time shooting this video, and that's because as I shot the first one, I saw that even though I was telling you all the little techniques and tricks, it wasn't good enough because I felt like you weren't going to get the whole sense of how I make sex amazing for my girl and for me. So what I want to do instead is I want to take you through the process of literally how I would seduce a girl and have sex with her from beginning to end so you can just see. And as we're going through the process, I'm going to pause and I'm going to highlight different tips and tricks that you can use for yourself. Now, one thing to remember about this is that one very important component of sex is just variety, right? You don't want to be having sex the same way all the time. So what I'm talking about here is I'm kind of giving you a very basic blueprint, and it'll work really well. But you don't want to always be doing it exactly this way. What you'll be doing is you'll be kind of taking this blueprint and then you'll be adding your own little twists and turns, and you'll be experimenting, you know, by yourself and with your girl. So let's get started. So the first thing that we got to mention before we even get into sex is, number one, be clean. Clean yourself. Girls are usually pretty good at this. Guys, sometimes not so much, right? A woman likes a nice looking, clean-shaven, well-groomed man, and also nice smelling man. Smell are really important to women. So make sure that you take frequent showers. Make sure that before sex, you go and you wash your private parts. Wash your dick, wash your balls, trim down there. Don't have a bush down there. Don't make it ugly, make it nice and trim. You should have just like a little bit of hair, not a lot, just a little bit. So that the woman feels comfortable going down on you, you feel comfortable yourself. Also, trimming makes your dick look longer. So there's, you know, multiple nice things about that. Be clean. If you're going to have sex in the evening and you showered in the morning, that's not sufficient. You're going to have to go wash up before you have sex. So a lot of times what I do is if we're making out and I know that, you know, sex is coming, before we start getting to the heavy foreplay, what I'll do is I'll just go to the bathroom. Sometimes I'll tell her, hey, I'm going to go wash up, or sometimes I'll just say, hey, no, I'm just going to the bathroom. She's not really going to care. In fact, what you'll probably want to do is after you go to the bathroom, you come back and you tell her, hey, go wash up, and she'll go do it, right? Women are usually pretty good about washing up, but sometimes they have a smell down there or whatever. To be safe, just tell her to go wash up. And if there's a specific problem that you've had with her in the past, tell her to go wash up. It's really simple. The second thing before you start sex is make sure you've got condoms. Condoms, and make sure that they're located right near the sex location. So near your bed, in the bedstand is the best thing. Make sure the box is open. It's not like plastic wrapped or something, because you're gonna have to go get scissors to open it up or something like that. Just open the box, make sure that they're handy. Also, have 2 condoms. As guys, one of the really good things we should be doing, I hope you have this habit, carry a condom in your wallet, right? A lot of guys do that. That's smart because you never know when you might need one. Well, what I do nowadays is I carry 2 condoms in my wallet. I find this is actually very important for a couple of reasons. Reason number 1 is that if you go, you're going out partying or whatever, you have sex someplace that's not your home. So you're going to need at least 1. But then what if you have sex with her and the condom breaks, or the condom slips off, falls on the floor, or something like that? That's going to be a very bad experience for you because you're going to have this hot girl there ready for sex and you're not going to have a condom. So what's going to happen is that either you're going to disappoint her and yourself, or you're going to have sex with her unprotected. So don't do that. Very dangerous. The second thing is that if you have sex with her at night and then you're going to sleep with her in the same bed and then you're going to wake up in the morning together, you're probably going to want to have sex with her again. And again, if you only had 1 condom, you've already used it, so then you're out of luck. And then again, what? Are you going to really trust yourself to not have sex with this hot girl that's lying in your bed that really wants you? Just because you don't have a condom, you probably will have sex with her unprotected. So again, watch out for that. So carry 2 condoms. Okay, the next tip I'm going to give you is, we already mentioned this, but sex is not about blowing your load. Right? Get that out of your mind. Sex is not about blowing your load. Sex is about making her feel the most amazing experience she could ever feel in her life. To me, it's like sharing my gift with this girl. That's what it's like for me. I want you to really adopt that mindset. Because honestly, the reason I like to talk about mindsets here is because the mindset fixes a lot of the technique problems automatically. See, if your mindset going into the bedroom is that I'm going to blow my load, then you're going to do all the wrong things. And you're going to have to remember all these counter techniques to fix those wrong things. That's just a bad way to go. Instead, come in with the right mindset. I'm there to really please the girl. I really love to please the girl. With that mindset, everything else will come into place and you'll even innovate your own strategies and techniques along the way. All right, so you really have to slow down. Slow down when you're having sex. This is where this mindset is very important. You have to love to please the girl. To do that, you have to slow down. If your mindset is about blowing your load, then it's just like, quick and dirty and then get an in and out kind of situation. So let me start talking about how I actually do it. So for me, the best way is, I've got the girl, let's say she comes over to my house or to my apartment and she's there, I'm with her in on the couch in the living room. And I know I want to have sex with her, and so I start to amp things up. Usually what that means is you sit close next to her, you start kind of playing her, poking her, putting your hands on her, that kind of stuff. It can start with some playful type of physical contact. Then you want to start to get into kissing. Kissing and really making out. Making out on the couch, that's like one of my favorite things. And when you're making out, make sure to take it nice and slow and make sure that you really spend your time there. I can spend 15 to 20 minutes just making out with the girl. That alone right there will get her super aroused and really excited for you. Sex, really good sex, is about arousal and teasing. And then only later comes the climax and the satisfaction of the stuff that you were teasing. So it's really about being very good at foreplay and teasing. I'm going to show you how to do just that. So what I do is I start kissing her, right? Kissing her nice and soft, nice and slow. You can vary it up. You can kiss her gently on the lips. You can kiss her a little bit harder. You can use a little bit more tongue. You can bite her bottom lip. You can bite her top lip. You can put your tongue in her mouth, move it around the corners of her mouth and the different lips that she's got. So you can do that. The other thing you can do is you can start kissing her face, or you can start kissing her neck area. Women are really, really turned on when they get touched or kissed on the neck. As you're doing that, you also want to incorporate your hands. So part of this thing about being dominant is putting your hands on her. That means to her that it's like she's being controlled and taken by you. So, put your hands on her hips, put your hands on her breasts. She's still clothed. We're assuming both of you are still clothed. You're just on the couch making out. But you can already start rubbing her and kind of groping her and caressing her and fondling her. You can also take her hands, put them in your hands, this kind of stuff. So just like start really slowly building it up, building it up, building it up. Another really nice technique is that as you build it up, you do something really hot and sexy. Maybe you kiss her on the neck, but then you pull back and you just start going back to the kind of like kissing her on the mouth kind of thing, just not as erotic. Then maybe you can go back to the neck, then maybe you can go a little bit towards the breast, and then you go back to the mouth. So this builds up like anticipation within her. It makes her feel kind of tingly and like there's like this kind of like kinetic energy in the air. Like something's gonna happen, she's not quite sure what is exciting, right? You wanna really build up that excitement within her. So start making out with her. As you're making out, a really cool thing that you can do, I really love to do this, is what you do, both of you are still clothed, but you take your shirt and you lift it up so that your stomach area is exposed, about around your belly button area, and then you do the same for her. And as you're making out, maybe she's lying on top of you or you're lying on top of her, what you do is you just expose both your stomachs and you push them together so there's a feeling of like connection and warmth between you and her, but your clothes are still on and you're just making out with her. And you do it in a way where it's really not obvious what exactly you did. So you know what you did, but she's not really quite sure, but she's just going along with the ride, and she's feeling very intimate. And she's feeling really turned on because like she gets the sensation as though you're inside her, but you're not really. So it's a really good way to kind of foreshadow what's coming next. So it's just like little stuff like this. And so just keep building it up this way. The next thing that's really important is eye contact. You need to have powerful, seductive, intimate, and dominant sorts of eye contact when you're having sex. This is really important. For women, looking into the guy's eyes, this is how she knows that she can trust you. This is how she knows that she's safe with you. This is how she knows that she has an intimate connection with you. You should also feel that with your girl too. So when you're kissing her, take time to kiss, 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 then pull back and just kind of like admire her and look lovingly in her eyes. Just like very kind of like sweetly, as though you think she's adorable, she's beautiful. You don't need to say anything. You can just look in her eyes and she'll know it. She'll feel it. That's kind of an intimate type of look. You can also give her a more dominant, I'm gonna fuck you kind of look, right? So the intimate look, it's just kind of like, you're like looking really adoringly at her. The dominant look is you're looking at her kind of like you want to kill her. So it's more like, like you're giving her kind of like a stern, really serious look. Don't take it over the top. You don't want to come off like some rapist, creepy serial killer kind of guy. Remember that she has to feel safe with you throughout this whole process. So it's not about anything like that. But like it's kind of like she knows that you're going to take her and you're going to fuck her brains out. That kind of look. So give her that one too. And you can kind of vary those around. So I'll be doing this. I'll be making out with her. Of course, after that, after a while of doing that, then you start slowly pulling up the shirts and pulling down the pants and just like slowly taking off layers of clothes. You do it for yourself. You can do it for her. Girls really find it hot when the guy takes off his shirt, especially if you've got some muscles going. That's really nice. So go ahead and do that. That's going to turn her on both visually, but also she can kind of feel you and touch you. The next thing after that is, you try to undress her as much as you can. At that point, what you might do, since you're still in the living room, is you might like take her by the hand and then lead her to the bedroom if you want to have sex in the bedroom. So that's actually really nice because what that's showing is that you're commanding and you're leading, and she loves to follow. So that's the perfect frame. So let's say you take her by the hand and you walk her, and let's say she still has her underwear on, but you took off all her clothes, the rest of them, and you've still got maybe your underwear on, but you're otherwise naked. So now you lead her to the bedroom, you lie her on the bed. At this point, what I like to do is, we've already made out, we've done a little bit of erotic touching. Now we start to get into the really very erotic touching. This is where you can get so much mileage, so much excitement built up, and I feel like a lot of guys miss out on this. What you do is you use your fingertips and you use your hands and you use your lips and your tongue and your mouth to basically touch and caress and massage and kiss up and down her entire body. Literally from fingers to toes and everything in between, except you don't go near her vagina and you don't touch the nipples. So you avoid the money areas, you save those for last. This is what builds up enormous anticipation within her. Gets her super wet, super excited, makes her nipples super hard. So what you do is you start from the most non-sexual areas, and then you move closer and closer towards the most sexual areas. So what would that mean? That means, start around her face, kiss and touch her face. You can hold her face in your hands. All that stuff is great. Let's say she's lying on the bed. What I would do is I would actually tell her to lie on her stomach on the bed and just kind of lie back and let me do the work. And at that point, what I would do is I would sit on my knees on the mattress and I would get to work. And I would start kissing her hands, her arms, her elbows. This area right here, the inner elbow part, is very sensitive. You can kiss on that, you can lick on it, you can suck on it, you can touch it with your fingertips. And just move through the arms, because the arms are very non-sexual. So the arms are really great to start with. You can also do the legs. Start at the bottom of the legs. So start near the feet and then move up the calves and up the thighs. The inner thighs are extremely sensitive and very erotic and sexual. So I would save those for a little bit later. Delay on those a bit. Start kissing around the butt cheek area. That's also very sensitive, but you can do that. You can kiss her sides. You can kiss her back. You can kiss on the stomach area, which is also very erotic and sexual. You can also kiss around the breasts, and you can kiss on the breasts, under the breasts, over the nipples, but avoid the nipples. That's going to make her super eager for you. So basically, do the kissing, and you can do different types of kissing. You can do little pecks like this. You can also do very big, sloppy, wet kisses, and you can do them quickly or you can do them slowly. So a big, slow, sloppy, wet kiss would be like that. And you get it really sloppy and wet. And after you do that kind of kiss, another cool trick you can do is you can kind of blow on that area that's still wet after you kissed it. So you kiss like this, and then you just go like that, you blow on it. That can feel really good, and it's that little extra touch that most guys would never put into the technique. You can also do two types of blowing. You can do a far away kind of blowing, which is cold, like this. This will cool her body. You can also do a kind of a really warm, kind of moist blowing, which is you get your mouth really open wide, not narrow, and then you blow, you just kind of breathe on her, and you come really close to her skin. So it's like this. It basically gets her kind of moist and warm. So you can vary between all those. Another really great thing that I'll do is I'll really use my fingertips to powerful effect. You can do a lot of things here. You can use your hands, you can use your whole finger, you can use the pads of your fingertips, and you can also use the very tips. You can even use the nails. So all of these can be used in various different techniques. So one thing that I really love to do is I love to use the tip of my fingertips, and I'll just run them along her body, and I'll start without even touching her body. I'll get really close to her skin, and what I'll do is I'll just trigger the hairs on her skin, right? Just the hairs. Not even her skin, but just the hairs, which makes her get these little goosebumps. Makes her really excited. Then I'll get a little bit deeper, and I'll actually start to touch just very gently, just caress with the fingertips. You can do that, and you can do that in all different places on the body. Then you can get more like a massage going, where you're actually putting pressure, slow pressure into it. You can also use your fingernails to kind of do a little bit of a scratching motion, gently, so you're not hurting her. With the mouth, we talked about the different types of kissing you can do, but you can also use your tongue. Your tongue, you can use the whole tongue, very wide. You can also use the tip of your tongue, like this, just to kind of circle it around a little bit. And you can also come in a lot of contact with the skin, or just a little bit of contact where you're grazing. So you always want to start off slow and light, and then go heavier. That's the idea. The idea is that you're ramping slowly upward, right? Slowly upward. So start with very light touching, then go heavier and heavier and heavier as she's getting more and more excited for you. So this touching is super important. And as you're doing this, I would also start to give her a little bit more of a preview of what's happening next. So I would take my hands, I'd put them on the really inside of her thighs, very sensitive. I start to squeeze that. I also love to take my hand, put it on her tummy, the area just a couple of inches below her belly button, put my hand there, and just kind of like put pressure and put warmth on her tummy. Because to her, that's like, she knows what's coming. You're going to be inside her. She wants that preview of the fact that you're going to be inside her and like that super deep, like intimate inside you kind of feeling. So all of that is great. You can experiment around and just try all sorts of different stuff. The next thing is dirty talk. Dirty talk is super important. In fact, I'm going to shoot a whole video on dirty talk because I think it's an important topic, and there's a lot of different things that you could say. I actually want to give you a lot of examples in that video. Here, I'm just going to give you a very couple of examples. I find that most people don't do dirty talk, and the first time you try to do it, it feels a little bit unnatural. I think this is why most people don't do dirty talk, because when they first try it, it feels like kind of, oh man, this is too dirty. It's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of shameful. Like, you got to throw all that out the window. In fact, dirty talk is one of the coolest things about sex. I love dirty talk so much. To me, it's like, man, I take it to an art form. Like, during the day, I will think of dirty stuff to say to my girl at night. Like, I really love to do dirty talk. And it wasn't always that way. I had to kind of train myself up for it. What does dirty talk mean, and when should you do it? Really, you should start doing it from the point where you start making out with her and you're thinking of having sex with her. So, start foreshadowing the kind of things that are going to happen. And there's really two different types. One type of dirty talk is the more intimate type of dirty talk, and then the other type of dirty talk is the more dominant. So the more intimate type of dirty talk might be something like, baby, I love you so much, like that kind of thing. Another thing is like, baby, I just want to undress you and like eat you up from head to toe, that kind of stuff. The more dominant type of dirty talk is kind of like, you might be like rubbing her tummy, and then you tell her something like, I'm going to stick my dick inside of there. Or I'm going to nail you to the bed. Or I'm going to nail your ass to the wall. Or it might be something like, you're going to be my dirty little slut tonight. Right? I'll give you more examples as we go on, and also in the special dirty talk video. But basically, you start telling her dirty things. You start building the intimate connection between you two. You can ask her questions. You can give her dominant commands. You can tell her exactly what you're going to do to her 5 minutes from now. So you can tell her how you're going to fuck her. You can tell her the ways in which you want to fuck her. You can get very graphic and very detailed, or you can use kind of innuendo. So that's up to you. The really important thing is the teasing, right? So for example, the way that I'll tease is like, you can take a fingertip, just like lick it, make it wet, and then you can rub it around her nipple, just like around the edge of her nipple, and just like keep doing that for a minute. And then like by that point, she really wants you to touch her nipple, but you don't do it. You lick your finger again and you go onto the other nipple. And then maybe after you do that, what you do is you blow a little bit on the nipples, just like this. By that time, she's so excited for you. And at that point, what I'll probably do is I'll actually, you want to actually resolve the excitement. So at that point, you actually like take and start touching the nipples, touch the nipples, suck on the nipples. That usually gets a girl really, really wet and excited. So at this point, she's super excited, she's super aroused. She's probably never been this aroused by any guy in her life. Like, very few guys go to all this length. This might take you 30 to 60 minutes to do this whole process, and that's great. You should be having sex for 60 minutes to 2 hours. That's how long your sex should be. You should not be having any sex that's less than 60 minutes. That's not sex, that's very rushed, ridiculous sex. So notice that just slowing everything down, that will get you so much. So now, when this is all done, she's really excited for me. She's begging me. She's begging me to be inside her. I can actually ask her. I can actually make her beg, and I'll do that sometimes because it's a very dominant thing. I'll say something like, baby, beg for my dick inside you. Right? Something like that. And then she'll beg. And if she doesn't beg in the way that I want, or if I don't sense that it's sincere enough, or if I don't sense that she's horny enough, then I'll back off and I'll say, I'm not gonna fuck you. Or, just kind of like play with her a little bit. Make her really play into it. Make her beg, make her want to be fucked. And she knows what's going on, so she's going to play into it. Like, it's great for both of you. After this point, what I would get into is some fingering. So she's really excited. At this point, what you do, you get your fingers, you get them wet. She should be already super wet. Now you take your finger, start with one finger, start rubbing it around like her crotch and inside the lips of the vagina, and just start rubbing it around, rubbing around. You can rub her clit, experiment around how you do that. And of course, the really key thing that you're building up to is the actual point at which you penetrate her. With your fingers. I'm not even talking about your dick yet. So just with your fingers. That point, I'll build up to it for a long time. So I'll rub all around her lips and her clit and get her really, really wet, really excited. I can feel how wet she is on my fingers. And then what I do is I'll take my middle finger and I'll take the pad of my middle finger and I'll move it down from the clit and from the lips more towards the actual hole. And what I'll do at that point is I'll just kind of like glide it over the hole. And I'll kind of like I'll be looking at her. So usually the way it is that she's next to me, her face is next to mine, I might be kissing her, her legs are open, we're lying on the bed, and my hand is between her legs. And I'm doing the fingering. But my attention isn't on the fingering, I'm not looking at that, I'm looking at her. That's what builds that intimate connection. So at that point, I'll really want her to beg me to penetrate her with my finger. And I'll really tease her. What I'll do is I'll take my pad of my finger and like, if this is the hole, then I'll just like very lightly rub it right around the rims of the hole and then just kind of like press on it a little bit. So my tip is maybe going in just like a little tiny bit. At this point, she should be so excited that her hips, her whole butt and hip part of the body will be moving towards your finger because she's like gonna want to penetrate herself on your finger. And what you can do is you can actually pull the finger away and you can tell her, don't be a bad girl. So you play with her, you toy with her. After a while, of course, once she's super excited, then you gotta fulfill on your promise. Put your finger in there, start fingering her, learn where the G-spot is. The G-spot is inside the upper wall, about 1 inch in. It has a little bit of a different texture to it. So you can rub the G-spot. You can also go deeper all the way inside. I find that girls love it when it's even deeper than the G-spot. And just kind of basically rub your finger and move it around and swirl it around and curl it, and you can pump it, and there's different things you can do. In fact, I have a really great video called How to Make a Girl Squirt, which goes a lot more into how to do a really powerful fingering technique. So you might want to check that out. Start with one finger, then after she's really excited, I'll use the second finger as well. So 2 fingers, this is your middle and your ring finger. That's the squirting technique, but you don't have to make her squirt with that. You can just make her come. The trick here is that you're fingering her and now she's so excited that it's going to be very easy for her to come. She's going to come very quickly. It might take you 2 minutes of pumping like this and she'll be melting all over you. So this is really cool, and I want to make her come with my fingers. In fact, sometimes I'll make her come twice with my fingers before I've even penetrated her. But always at least once. To me, this is cool for a couple of reasons. One is that it kind of takes pressure off me. As the guy, there's a lot of pressure on us to make the girl come. I feel like if I can get at least 1 orgasm in for the girl, at least like now I know she's satisfied. Even if we stop at that point, I know she's already going to be fairly satisfied with me. That takes more, a little bit of the pressure off me. So this is nice. Another good thing about this is that sometimes you're going to come very quickly. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether you're going to come fast tonight or you're going to take longer to come. And so I don't want to disappoint the girl by sticking my dick in there and then coming a minute later and not having her orgasm. So that would be a letdown. So what I want to do is I just want to make her come with my fingers. Once, twice, you can even do it more. Don't worry about her getting finished or somehow exhausting herself. Women can have unlimited numbers of orgasms. They're not like guys. This is a very cool thing. You can give them literally an unlimited number of orgasms. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do. 10 orgasms, that's not nearly the end of it. That's just the beginning. So she's not going to get exhausted from 1 or 2 orgasms. So make her come with your fingers. At that point, she's going to be super eager for you to be inside her. She's going to tell you. She's going to be clawing at you. She's going to be clawing at your dick, right? So this is great. And just a side note, sometimes in some of my other videos, I would tell guys that I make a girl come 5 to 10 times. and they would be saying like, but Leo, how do you do that? That sounds like you're doing something amazing. You have some amazing dick or something like that. No, it's not. It's very simple, actually. Look, here's how it works. You make her come twice with your fingers. Then she spreads her legs. You start having sex with her. You have sex with her, and you make her come twice with your dick. That's also not that hard. I come pretty quickly. It doesn't take me that long to come, especially like if I'm really into it and there's a lot of emotion going on, I can come very quickly. But still, you can kind of use, you can use the muscles like around your dick to kind of hold it in, hold it back. You can also use little techniques to delay. So maybe you're having sex with her in one position and you're getting really close to come, then you can pull out, change positions, and by that point, you're not ready to come anymore. Then you can go do it some more, then you can change positions again and again and just kind of like rotate stuff around like that. Maybe you can go down on her, she goes down on you, so you can alternate. So you give her 2 orgasms with your dick. Then, after you come inside her or you come outside her, however you want, then that's already 4 orgasms you've given her. You can do 2 more orgasms with your fingers. So that's 6 orgasms right there. And that's a pretty simple process to go through every single time. There's really no reason that you shouldn't be able to do that. The only question is, do you want to? Are you going to take the time to do it? This comes back to the original mindset, right? Do you love to please the girl? I do. That's why my sex is amazing. The question is, do you want to adopt that mindset? I really encourage you to adopt it. So anyways, going back, so she's been fingered. Now you have sex with her. There's all the different positions. You can go study them, pick up a book, whatever. Pretty simple, right? Missionary, doggy style, basic stuff. You can also throw her on the coffee table, on the kitchen counter. You can have her leaning up against a wall. That's really hot and sexy and dominant. So there's all the different positions you can try. Try to delay your own orgasm, because as soon as you come, that's pretty much it. It's over, at least for the penetration component. You can still finger her a little bit after that, but it's going to end pretty quick. So try to delay yours as much as you can. If you have premature ejaculation issues, that will be a topic for another video. I'm not going to discuss that here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fuck her. When I'm fucking her, really important eye contact in those positions that you can. So if it's missionary, lots of eye contact. That's why missionary is so great. If it's doggy style, that's more of a dominant position. There, try to be more dominant. Spank her. You can kind of throw her around a little bit on the bed. You can grab her hips. I love to grab the hips and kind of pull them towards me or kind of move them around. It shows that I'm kind of controlling her. And then of course, as you're doing all that, the way that I like to have sex is it's all building up towards my climax, right? That's the hottest thing for her, is when I come inside her. That's the most, like, an orgasm where you come inside the girl. Whether you're using a condom or not, that's the best. If you're not using a condom, that's like even 10 times better. So her orgasm is going to be the most powerful when you come with her, in her. And she wants to come with you. So you two are going to really synchronize. When you come inside her, I almost find that almost always the girl starts coming no matter where she is in her orgasm. She'll start coming again and again and again. You want to get pretty good at being able to like pound her without coming yourself. So there's like certain angles and certain positions that you can find where, it feels good for you, but it doesn't feel amazing for you, but it still feels amazing for her. So find those positions that allows you to have like, the penetrating motion without making you come so fast. And stay away from the ones that make you come so fast. Keep those for later. But ultimately my sex, I'm talking dirty to her the whole time. I'm saying intimate things to her the whole time. I'm telling her throughout the whole thing that I'm going to come inside her, how amazing it's going to be, how dirty it's going to be, how much of a slut she is, how much you love her. If you're on in kind of a loving relationship and you're on that term basis where you're saying I love you, say that to her too. And then finally you're going to come inside her or wherever, and you can finger her some more after that, and then you two are done. Now, what's really important is the after sex component. Don't forget this. A lot of guys forget this. You can build a lot of intimacy and a lot of loyalty from your girl. She can really fall in love with you after the sex is done. And that's through the cuddling and what you do after sex. Don't fall asleep after sex. That's pathetic. Don't fall asleep after sex. And don't just go silent either and stare at the ceiling. Like, what I like to do is after sex, I like to pull her really close. I like to cuddle her. tell her how amazing it is. You can caress her body. You can just kind of like look lovingly in her eyes, all that kind of lovey-dovey stuff. Do that. Like, you will not believe how much kudo points that gets you from a girl. Plus, you should like this too. It's amazing. To me, this after sex cuddling thing, it's almost as good as the sex itself. In fact, sometimes it's even better. It's like, because it's so relaxing. You've got all the chemicals kind of flowing out of your body. Like, it feels amazing. And now you've got this beautiful girl next to you. So, like, take that time to build up that connection. That's really cool. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole process. All right, so we covered a lot of stuff here. And actually, I'm going to, like I said, have that second part to the video, which is going to tell you how to be more intimate and how to be more dominant, how to work on both those. I'm going to give you very practical things that you can do. So that's going to give you even more techniques. The question now is, how do you actually learn all this? Because, there's a lot of different stuff we covered. And remember that component about not being in your head? Well, if you go into the bedroom and you try to do all this stuff that I told you in the exact same sequence, what's going to happen is you're going to ruin the sex, because it's not going to be spontaneous and natural. What I want you to do instead is the following. I want you to focus on 3 core principles, 3 mindsets, which will help a lot of the techniques fall into place naturally. One is, I love to please the girl. 2 is, I love to be masculine. And 3 is that excellence in sex is very important to me. Rewind the video, review those points. Those 3 principles, integrate those into your mind, visualize them, make sure that you really believe them, that you really want them. From this, all the rest will tend to fall into place. The other thing I really encourage you to do is read and buy books on sex. There's a ton of them out there. You can find stuff online. You can take video courses. There's ebooks, there's products, all this great stuff. So make sure to dig into it, study it. Studying sex is important. It's cool. There's nothing weird about it. Next is porn. Most of you guys probably watch a ton of porn anyways, but you know what? There's actually bad porn and good porn. Good porn, as I mean like porn where you can actually learn techniques. You can see cool stuff happening. Like, you can see that the male guy who's having sex with the girl, he's performing in an amazing way. So make sure you find those porn, take mental notes when you watch that porn and see, oh, he's doing this, that's cool. I want to do that with my girl. Or, oh, she's doing that, maybe I'll tell my girl to do that. So, get a lot of ideas from porn. Find what you find the most sexy from porn and then incorporate that into your routine. Of course, try to integrate one piece at a time. You're not going to do it all at once. If you've never had sex before, you're not going to be able to go and do all this at once. Just start with the very basics. Maybe you want to focus on kissing and touching and teasing. Maybe start with that. Then maybe you want to move into a little bit of dirty talk. Spend a couple of nights just practicing dirty talk. Then a couple of nights later, maybe you're going to try some spanking, some other stuff. So just like slowly incorporate and sprinkle this stuff in. That's going to be the best way to do it. And ultimately, what we're talking about here is practice, practice, practice. And the best way to do that is not through one-night stands, but through getting a girlfriend. If you want to get really good at sex, what you need someone that you can have sex with consistently, frequently, lots of times, and you can also build up the intimacy. So one of the reasons I find that guys, actually, I know a lot of guys who have had sex with lots of girls. I mean, guys who've had like sex with 100 girls, 200 girls, 300 girls. But these guys can be bad with girls in the bedroom. They can be bad at sex because a lot of the girls that they're having sex with, these are one-night stands. One-night stands tend to be the lowest quality sex. That's another thing. It's like a one-night stand, sure, it can be exciting because it's like a very new, strange person, strange situation. It's exciting. But also, you can't really get deep with that person. You're using a condom with that person. You're a little bit afraid of where that person's been or what they're doing. You guys are not in sync with each other. You don't really know that person too well. You don't know their kissing style. You don't know what kind of sex they like or don't like. So the best way, get a girlfriend. Be with her. If you want to be with her forever, fine. If you want to be with her for 6 to 12 months, be with her for 6 to 12 months. Have sex with her a lot. As you're having sex with her, what you do is you go back to this video And every time you have sex, before you have sex, you watch this video again, you take notes and you find, okay, what's that one thing from everything that Leo talked about that I'm going to incorporate this night? And then you go and you do it. So maybe tonight it's going to be dirty talk. Next week it's going to be spanking. Next week it's going to be something else. And so over the course of like 6 to 12 months, I found you can get really good at sex just with one girl because you're having sex continuously, but you gotta not go, fly by the seat of your pants. You have to actually put a little bit of like thought into the way that you're having sex. So prepare beforehand. If I find that if you do this, it's a little bit unnatural and mechanical at first. It seems like, well, sex should be so simple. I shouldn't be studying how to have sex. You know what? Don't take that attitude. Take this attitude. I'm going to study how to have sex for the next 6 to 12 months. But then I'm going to be like a sex god, a sex machine. I'm going to be so good that women are going to be falling in love with me every single time. And at that point, it's going to be so fluid, so natural, so easy that I'm not going to need to remember any of these techniques. I can throw away my notes. It's all going to be up here. And honestly, it will be because sex is a very natural thing and you don't need that much experience to get good. If you have sex 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, and you incorporate all the stuff I told you, you will become extremely good. And you will be in the top 1% of all guys on the entire planet. And women will love you for it. Do not mistake how much women love sex. Women love deep, dirty, intimate sex more than guys do because they're very emotional creatures. They need it more than guys do. Guys, we like to bust our nuts. Women, they like that deep emotional connection. So take the time, give it to them. You're going to feel great. She's going to feel great. It's going to be a win-win for everybody. And use this new developed skill of yours responsibly. All right, this is Leo. I'm signing off. Go ahead, post me your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave me a like. Click the like button right now. Share it with your friends on Facebook, wherever. Share it with your girlfriend. Share it with your boyfriend. Share it with your husband. Share it with your wife. Discussing this stuff is not weird. Discussing this stuff is cool. People love it. People love learning about this stuff. Everybody loves learning about sex. It's just that sometimes we feel like we're held back. It feels a little bit weird, but if you bust through that initial hesitancy, you'll love it so much. And of course, finally, come and sign up to my newsletter. It's a free newsletter right here. Click sign up. I release new videos on self-actualization topics every single week. I love to release new videos. I have so many more planned. I feel like my best work is still yet ahead. This video is about sex. Most of my videos are not about sex. Most of my videos are about how to give you the mindsets you need to master your life, how to build a really rich, robust, accurate mental model of how you work, how people work, how the world works, so that you can accomplish whatever you want in your life. And the thing I want the most for you in your life is passion. I want you to be really passionate, really grateful, really appreciative, and really happy about the fact that you're living here. You've got all this amazing opportunity, and all you need is a little bit of tweaking of your mindsets to really access it and get everything that you want. So sign up and you'll be all set. It's free.